Ladies, gentlemen, welcome on in to this week's edition of Trust the Process Live. You know, usually we got a fresh wounds here after a Sunday game. This time we've let these wounds marinate, maybe put a little healing cream on them, a little ointment, and still doesn't feel better for me. I don't know about you, Digits. JJ, on the other hand, here, I know how you're doing. Talk to us, YG.
Hey, man, what was supposed to happen happened. You know, what was supposed to happen happened. You guys give a valiant effort, made me sweat a little bit at the end, but at the end of the day, we were an older team on a short week. We did what we needed to do. We get up out of there, maybe get a gym steak or two on the way out.
Oh,
and we handle business.
You calculated exactly what you needed to give, and you coasted the rest of the way.
But Digits, realistically,
that's how you do it. No. I'm saying that as a compliment.
I'm saying that as a compliment. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you're supposed to do when you're a title aspirant.
Yeah, we're not gonna hurt ourselves trying to beat y'all. But isn't that on brand for Brady though? I saw him a lot of times. Does not blow inferior teams out. Just do exactly what I need to do. Get on up out of here.
Digits, buddy, we hanging in there. We doing all right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too beat up over this game. I mean, I'm more frustrated at seeing a pattern consistently throughout each game. I'm sure we'll talk about that very shortly here. But in the bubble of an Eagles against Tampa Bay Buccaneers in October of 2021 matchup, I got no qualms with how things played out.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head there. We're about to jump right into that. But Josh Saffron today, filling in for our guy Bannerman. Banner with a migraine today. Fellas, have you guys had migraines before?
Yeah, put me on the pup list for a migraine. Physically unable to perform.
Dude,
if I get one, I'm down.
You can't stare at a computer screen when your head's already hurt, and you'll look out of it. Like I think we've all done the show like out of it before, and you can get through it. But like if your head's hurting, like there's been times where I'm just like I can't even like look at my computer screen right now. My head hurts so bad.
If you were doing some like radio top something list, like migraine's number one for like top minor / like non-life-threatening ailments that you can get at any day. Migraine, number one. Oh my god.
Migraine will sit the most powerful person down, man. Migraine will sit you down.
So that's Percy Harvin. That's one powerful man right there. But fellas, enough talk about Percy Harvin. We're talking about the birds. Unfortunately for Max and I, possibly. We're talking about the birds. And Digits, you being the Eagles fan and the Eagles fan pundit of the day. That game, like you said, you're seeing a pattern. It's not about the L in the column. We all expected that for the birds, except I did talk myself into a win that day. We did expect that for the birds. Nick Sirianni. I know it's early, but, the quarterback as well, but I want to focus on Sirianni first. Is he on the hot seat in your mind? I'm not saying Howie. No, don't put yourself in Howie or Jeff's shoes. Put yourself in Mr. Digits Coolish's shoes here. Is he on the hot seat?
Put my own shoes on here. I like that. I like that perspective.
I like to put Digits shoes on.
I mean, like from a you have me as a fan, but you're starting to lose me. I mean, he absolutely has to be. It's maddening at this point. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And I mean, we're at the point where we're 6 games into this guy's career, and he's already getting like Instagram account meme, like the face you make when it's the first half and you've already called 40 wide receiver screens. Like it's getting to the point where this isn't even just like a regional joke anymore. It's getting to the point where other people are like, wait a second, I saw the Eagles doing this against the Cowboys like 3 weeks ago. You're telling me they're doing the exact same thing against the Buccaneers tonight on Thursday? And I think when it hits that point, that's when it's like, it's one thing when your own fans are calling for heads, right? Like I think there's always some degree of people that'll do that regardless of what's happening. Bar short of being stacked top to bottom, no mistakes anywhere, consistently in contention for Super Bowls, there's always going to be people calling for head coach, quarterback, GM's job, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that when you start getting that criticism from the people who don't care about the well-being of the team, I think that's when it starts to become an issue, and that's when
they don't have a dog in the fight. When unbiased people are throwing shots, you got a problem.
That's when it's an issue. Yeah. And I mean, we're 6 games in, and look, I get everything gets memed quick nowadays, but I mean, it sucks seeing something that you've been trying to internally process for a couple weeks hit a national spotlight. And now everyone's laughing at you instead of you just like trying to figure out how to work this out before, shit hits the fan, and shit might have hit the fan.
Yeah, no, I feel that. JJ, you had a front row view of a title winning offense and then another offense that, let's call it pig slop here. So what do you think? Hot seat time, or are you willing to let him work out some kinks?
Max, I love your position on the national narrative kind of echoing, the Philadelphia narrative, because I see the same thing where, everyone else is starting to realize too, like, hey, like you said it exactly. Like I saw the Eagles against the Cowboys on a Sunday night run this type of offense and it didn't work. Why 3 weeks later do I see them on a Thursday night running it against the Buccaneers defense and it still doesn't work? Like you can't fool the nation twice. As I saw it 2 times not work. But with all that being said, I don't think Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat. Maybe he should be.
There we go.
But I don't think he is. I'll reiterate the same thing that I was saying last week. The expendable part of this equation is not Nick Sirianni. It's Jalen Hurts. And the effort is going to be trying to fit this round peg into a square peg into a round hole until I can't. And when I admit defeat is when we're in the offseason and now I'm using one of my 3 first-round picks, 2 of them probably going to end high, maybe inside the top 10 if the Eagles continue to be this bad, to maybe try and make a move at trying to get some kind of quarterback in the draft, through a trade, whatever, have you. But I don't think Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat. What I will say is I think the culture or the way Nick Sirianni wants to run this football team, that may be on the hot seat. Like management may have to come in and say, you're still the head coach, but next year things are going to be different. Things are going to move different. You're not going to be the primary play caller. I'm going to get, you're not going to have your staff as an offensive coordinator. I may want to go out and get a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator, whatever it is. The culture change of Nick Sirianni being up to him and his henchmen being under him, that it may be on the hot seat. But Nick Sirianni as a job, I just see from the Eagles is here to stay. And it's the Jalen Hurts aspect of it is the variable that's going to change first. Maybe not, Nick Sirianni maybe not be a permanent mainstay here, but the first thing that's going to change, the first thing that's going to try something new is the quarterback that they don't have under contract yet, and that's Jalen Hurts.
Now, fellas, that brings me to like kind of a side topic here, and one that's really been coming up lately in the last few weeks. I don't think we've really just addressed it head on, though. And JJ, you were kind of alluding to it, so I'll come to you first. Do we really think that Nick Sirianni has control of this team, or is this, like I've been hearing from other folks, Howie and Jeff playing him like a puppet? Like, what do you think about that? Because I think that's what we're saying when we talk about who's the first to go. It's Jalen Hurts because they're all in on Nick Sirianni, and the perception is that it's because they can control him.
Yeah, Howie Roseman drafted Miles Sanders. Howie Roseman likes Miles Sanders. I don't believe that Nick Sirianni is just running whatever system or doing whatever that front office wants him to. I think there was a trust instilled in Nick Sirianni. He got to bring in his staff. They passed up Deuce Staley so they could bring in his staff in his way. So I think there was a little bit of trust. Now they didn't give him the keys to the city like they did Chip Kelly, but they allowed him to get his, have his way, do it his way to start. And you're going to be our new head coach. Let's see what you got, because this is a rebuilding year anyway. Let's see if your way works. And at the end of 6 weeks, we could see it doesn't. And at the end of the season, that's when the change of, hey, man, I tried to let you do it your way. It didn't work. Go get the quarterback you think is going to work and bring him to me because now we're going to do it my way.
Man, oh man, that has to hurt me, JJ. That hurts digits.
I mean, it's just I really don't fault the front office for that thinking of giving in a rebuild year. Now, like, hey, if they bring in a new coach on a team that's ready to win now, no, we got to make sure we're doing it the way that I think it should be done. I'm not just giving you complete control, a first-year head coach at that. But in this kind of year, and a quarterback that's not really supposed to be your quarterback, and he was our second-round pick, we're not married to him. Like, yeah, try it your way. If it doesn't work, next year it's my way. But try it your way.
What do you think? I mean, I'm sure you've heard this narrative before. Are you giving anything to it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's probably true to the extent of, I mean, think about it like this, right? Sirianni, this is his big break as an NFL staff member, right? Like he's taking an enormous jump here. I don't think it's so much necessarily that Howie and Lurie know that they can like actively puppet string him. I think it's more the fact that they know that they'll get no resistance if they do want to do something like, hey, you got to move on from this offensive corner, because we saw them have that issue with Doug, and Doug was a little bit more tenured. Doug was, was in the NFL and then was an assistant coach for a long time, and this and that and the third, right? So he was, much more established in terms of an NFL staff member presence. And I think that, they hired him for a reason, right? Like I do think that they have, a real belief in him as a football coach, but I definitely think that after what they just went through with such a tumultuous breakup with Dougie P and all the headbutting that led to that, like that wasn't supposed to happen going into that offseason. We thought it was going to be another offseason of retooling and figuring things out, and it just kind of slowly deteriorated. And by the end of it, it was like, oh, okay, like this is just, we're done here. Like we're done here. So I think this is totally different. I think they wanted something like this for that reason. So I JJ, you have it spot on. Like it's Hurts is the first piece that moves by a long shot, right? Like I think that Sirianni is only gone after 2 years minimum. If worst case scenario is they clearly move on from Hurts after this year, they get a new quarterback by whichever method necessary, whether that's using the draft picks for an actual player or for whatever it is, right? If Sirianni does the same vanilla, inefficient, and frankly uninspiring offense again next year with a better quarterback that he chooses, then I think that that's the only way that he's out of here in 2 years. Like if he goes 3 years without a playoff appearance, I think he's probably done regardless at that point. But I think the only way he's gone after 2 years is if we see this again, this exact same level of production and inconsistency and the continued penalties and just, completely lifeless first halves. If I see this again in a 2022-23 season, then I need Nick Sirianni gone after 2 years.
Yeah, Max, let me put this by you. Josh, you too. Let me put this by you guys. Because what my observation is, the fans in the city, this is always going to happen in Philadelphia, but the fans in the city have way more of a sense of urgency than the organization does. I don't see it's got to happen now, or it's got to happen tomorrow. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, something's going to change mentality from the organization. It's why we see the same offense week after week after week. It's why we see the same type of Jalen Hurts week after, because it's like, hey, man, we'll try it. If it doesn't work, this year wasn't supposed to be anything anyway. So if it doesn't work, it don't hurt us. The biggest thing that the Eagles had to figure out this year is what we're going to do with Carson Wentz's contract. And that got figured out. So it's like, hey, if this that's a win, man. We got that off our shoulders. Like this is
thanks for the positivity.
This is a get me through. This is a get me through year. Get me through. Let's all get healthy on the next year. So if it don't work,
nobody who bleeds midnight green in their right mind,
and you shouldn't
look at a game like that.
Shouldn't. Football's not fun if you look at it that way. I had a 4 or 5 win team year after year as well, and I never once threw in the towel.
Nobody wants to deal with that.
No one wants to do that. But the reality of the situation is, from an organizational standpoint, you have to see the reality in that of like, hey, man, I know we're not going to do it this year. So like we can figure a bunch of things out through the season to get us prepared for seasons moving forward. But it's not a this year thing. It's not.
The other reality of the situation is that Nick Sirianni looks like an idiot in every single facet.
Yeah, hey, man, we swung and missed. It wasn't supposed to be this year anyway. We swung and missed.
But you can't sit there and just say that to your fan base, who are one of, if not the most intense fan bases.
Wait, they're not. Josh, that's why I'm asking you to use your IQ and infer. Because they're never going to. If a front office ever says that, the team might actually just fold. Like the team might actually just go within itself. Because there's no way David Gettleman wouldn't actually say that. Like no one's actually going to say that. But you could see the writing on the wall, man.
I could see the writing on the wall that Nick Sirianni is not an NFL head coach. That's the only writing on the wall that I see. And the fact that you two, and I agree, I'm not disagreeing, but you two are painting the picture in a very blunt manner. And it's that Jalen Hurts is going to be the first piece to go. And fellas, if you don't mind,
absolutely.
I'm going to call this a segue right here, because I feel like this offense has been, like a little toddler could have drawn this up on the playground. So here's the question. This is the other big buzz question around Philadelphia since last Thursday. we saw the missed throws. I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't see them. They were bad.
Shaky, baby.
Yeah. So, JJ, I'm coming to you then on that note.
Yeah.
We just talked about Sirianni. Is this a fair evaluation of Jalen Hurts?
Now, Josh, let me tell you, all Jalen Hurts believers out there too, let me tell you, first time seeing it in person, it was not it. It was not it. But I saw a Jalen Hurts that was unable to complete the full duty of being quarterback. Now, the improvisation, get myself out of trouble and make a play here and there, that's still there, man. I saw that. But the complete scope of the quarterback position, I didn't see it. But I also saw Jalen Hurts within an offense that is not geared for him. If your offense is not geared for your quarterback, your offense is going to struggle. Your quarterback is going to struggle. So I don't think it's a fair evaluation of Jalen Hurts. He's not playing well within his offense, but this offense isn't made for him. It's just simply not. They don't move him within the pocket. They either throw it right next to him or they throw it 40 yards down the field. There's no in between. They don't give him any support with the run game. They don't allow him to be mobile and do what he does best and kind of get outside the pocket and get creative and make plays. They don't allow him to do that. So yeah, he's probably going to stink. He's probably not going to, perform well. So I don't think this is a fair evaluation of Jalen Hurts. If and when the Eagles move on from Jalen Hurts, and I do think it's a matter of when, not if, but I'll say if and when the Eagles move on from Jalen Hurts, I see him landing on his feet. I see him getting somewhere else, getting another opportunity. That might pain you to hear, but it should be. You might be able to find some solace in the fact that it's not Jalen Hurts. It's the system. And the Eagles and Nick Sirianni have a system that they want to try, that they want to use, and Jalen Hurts is not the quarterback for it. But I don't think that falls on Jalen. It sucks, man. You got stuck in a bad situation. It really is. It really is tough. Welcome to the NFL, I would say, but it really is tough. But we've seen this before, man. Go. The talent is there. I don't think anyone's going to deny the talent, the will, and the drive is there. There's going to be a coach in one of the 32 NFL teams that can utilize what Jalen Hurts has. It's just not Nick Sirianni. It's not the Eagles.
I'm surprised, JJ. I was ready for you to completely go the other way.
And here's the thing. I haven't been a Jalen Hurts guy since y'all drafted him. And it's because I like the situation that he was in. Like this situation, I don't think was right for Jalen Hurts. But I do think there's a system that he could succeed in. I don't think he'll ever light the world on fire. But I think there's a system he could Alex Smith in. He could definitely do that.
I could real quick, I'll throw this out there. I could see a deal being made to Seattle where you swap quarterbacks as well and draft picks involved, and Jalen lights the world on fire in Seattle. I don't know. I can see that very well.
You just sit at home and just play with the trade machine, don't you? You absolutely.
What digit?
This is on hour 5 of concocting trades. Digit? Where did that come from?
You think Seattle ever entertains you? Like ever?
With Jalen Hurts. Like you're gonna get Russell Wilson and you wouldn't give me Jalen Hurts?
The point I was making is give Jalen Hurts a Russell Wilson system and personnel. And
the concept, I agree. Yes, the concept, I agree. A run-heavy team where he's got to throw maybe 25 to 30 times a game. Yes, absolutely.
And use his legs, improvise when he can.
Seattle in particular, Pete Carroll might hang up the phone, man. Pete Carroll might not even hear it out.
Digits.
That was off bounds. Josh, me and you are not on the same page tonight because I've seen enough to Jalen Hurts to say that I'm confident in saying that I don't think that he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. I don't. He has struggles with accuracy issues at every level of the field. He's a bad deep ball thrower, like a bad deep ball thrower. Like we had a bad deep ball thrower the last couple of years.
Really
I think he's really worse than Carson Wentz at throwing the deep ball. And look, he is not being utilized correctly. He's clearly not like him and Justin Fields are both being severely misutilized by the respective coaching staffs. They never get outside the pocket. But the thing is that Justin Fields is a much better athlete and can throw the deep ball, and there's reason to get him outside the pocket. I don't know if Hurts is a good enough arm talent to be able to cut the field in half and still be effective, and he's not able to sit in a pocket and deliver a clean ball. I think that this sucks to say as an Eagles fan. I think that he's kind of geared for a Taysom Hill light role somewhere eventually.
Because that's what he was trying to fight off, man.
I know it was.
That's what he was trying to fight off,
dude.
I think he's a good. I think he's a good football player, but he needs.
Oh, when you're calling him a good football player and not
he needs pieces around him, man. He has not shown me the ability to elevate those around him. And you would think, and look, I'm not going to say this is totally indicative. Like, obviously, there's a lot of coaching stuff that goes into the running, but I think that the running back should have more carries on his behalf because he seems a little bit too keep happy in a lot of those option situations. It seems to work a lot better around the goal line. I don't know. I'm not sold. I never was really.
That's interesting though. That's interesting. I've never thought about the Miles Sanders touches from that point of view. I haven't looked at it. I'm going to pay attention a lot more to these RPOs and see how much Jalen Hurts is giving it to him, because that's an extra 5 to 10 touches in your hand if Jalen Hurts is
Nick Sirianni during the press conferences, every time they ask him about running the ball more, he kind of just says, "Well, we do run a lot of RPOs," and his answer is kind of just saying,
he's trying to tell you, hey, man, I'm calling him. I'm calling him.
I'll say this: there's a reason that people have been asking for good old fashioned smash mouth football, like hand the ball to your running back. Like that's what the criticism has been, like, of Sirianni, and it kind of clicked for me, like after watching that game, like, yes, hand the ball to the running back, make that your quarterback's only objective. Instead
don't
of
give him the option. Don't give him the option.
Don't give him the option. Right. So look, I will say this: Sirianni has not impressed me. He does not deserve any slack here. I do. If I had to, 6 games in, if you have to give me, gun to my head, I don't think that this system is going to work with any quarterback. But with that said, I think that a guy who can throw an accurate deep ball that isn't regularly underthrown, I think I think that's what you need to see before judging Sirianni at this point, because clearly he just won't throw it over the middle. And that's why Sirianni refuses to be void of criticism. But I think that, if think about it like this, Jalen Reagor had 90 yards of pass interference calls off 2 balls that were grossly underthrown behind him.
The Jamel Dean one, the Jamel Dean one made me sick.
Exactly. If one of those are completions, that's a touchdown. That's a home primetime game. Like, one of those deep ball hits, like, that's the biggest momentum shifter in football, is a long touchdown, whether it's a running play, a passing play, or a defensive touchdown. You give me a long touchdown, and every single person paying attention to that game, cheering for that team, is fired up. No. I don't want to harp on him too much because I am pulling for him. Right. I just was never sold on him in college, and I expressed this before when it was very clear that he was going to be the starting quarterback, that I had a lot to be desired from him still. But it does seem like that he is just maybe, I mean, right now, hey, it's still early in his career. He can still turn it around, but it seems like right now he's maybe not cut out to be a starting QB in the NFL.
So Max, I am surprised, and this kind of leads right into my follow-up here, fellas. For you, Digits, would you consider some Minshew mania in the 215 this season?
That's the throw in the. Sorry to cut you off, Digits, but that's
you're right.
That's throw in the way late. Yeah, that's the public admittance of defeat, and that's. You got to be very careful in Philly when you publicly admit defeat.
Oh yeah,
you got to be very careful.
You can only get away with that if Hurts is like, we're talking like multiple, probably 3 interceptions through 2+ quarters. That's like. That's the territory we need to approach for Minshew to sniff a game here, because the leash is so long.
Right.
But quite frankly, better?
What?
Does he play any better though? Because I think you just said, I don't know if any quarterback can.
He gives you a new flavor. It may not be any better, but it's like eating ice cream for 2 hours and then you eat fries. And then, are the fries better? Like, no, but they taste good because it's something new. It's something new. It's a new flavor.
I like that, and I think that's a good way to put it.
New, man.
I think that's a good way to put it. I don't think this team's like any better with Minshew and under center. Because the thing is that if we run the same launch, Minshew's the big knock on Minshew is that his arm sucks too. He can't throw the ball either. So like at this point, like maybe the only thing I can see is a clear upgrade in terms of offensive firepower with Minshew is that he'll hand the ball off more and he'll be more willing to do so. So maybe if how about this? Next time we're nursing a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter, and you put Minshew in for handoffs. How about that? Can we agree?
Man,
just to get Miles' touches,
just to get Miles Sanders the ball to close out the game.
When do you plan on nursing a 21-point lead in the fourth?
I'm just saying that's when we need Minshew on the field.
Okay. So Minshew never getting in. That's what you're telling me right now.
That's how bad the situation is here. Because look, the Eagles have nothing. They have nothing to lose by playing Hurts all season. They literally don't. They have nothing to lose by playing all season.
Absolutely. Which is why I say like there's no reason to bench him. And Josh, you remember when you said like there's no NFL organization that will publicly admit the defeat we were talking about earlier? Putting in Minshew says it without saying, tell me you're laying down without telling me.
That's what we did last year with Hurts with Wentz.
I was just about to say, it begs the question: Is Jalen Hurts just the French fries after 3 seasons of ice cream?
Yeah. Yes.
It's bad when you got myself.
Hold on, really quick. I would like to nominate Josh. You can write this down in your awards column for end of the season. I think we need to nominate Jalen Hurts as the youngest bridge QB in NFL history.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Hey man,
to get put in a Ryan Fitzpatrick role at 22 or 23 is tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Stop. I'm moving on. I'm moving on to a whole different sport. I'm going across the street. I don't like
the
this.
world really just came crashing down on you, man.
Sorry, buddy.
That put it in a lot of perspective just now. That put it in a lot of perspective.
The ice cream thing and then the Fitz
Yeah, man, that's tough.
No, it's week 6. We got 10 more games plus a week 18.
Nah,
so I don't
he is French fry. He is French fry Fitzpatrick.
He's French frying hard right now.
Yeah.
I still believe he's the quarterback of the future. Franchise quarterback Jalen Hurts, baby. Give him a new system. Give him a new coach. All right, fellas, let's talk hoops. Let's
do it.
It's been such a long time. We have been trying not to do it. And boy, I found myself looking up and down the Sixers roster today because, truth be told, I wasn't sure what the whole roster was. I had acted like this team didn't exist in the city.
They hurt us a lot last year.
A very long season and the off season. Max, I'll come to you with this one first. I need to hear something else from you that's not Jalen Hurts slander. Did the Sixers get better this off season? Like, let's be real. Did they get better?
I mean, I'll say this. They are returning largely the same roster. Our one huge biggest area of weakness last year was a backup center. And look, Andre Drummond is as inefficient as they get. But the good thing about inefficient players is that they can be productive for you in very, very limited minutes. And that's what we're looking for out of Andre Drummond. Very, very limited minutes. I think that comparatively the East around them is a lot better. I don't see them getting the 1 seed again this year. I do feel inclined to believe that they're still in that top tier of contenders in the East. And, if everything goes their way, they could be the representatives in the East, but I don't think that I'm willing or able to confidently put them over the Bucks or the Nets in terms of my Eastern Conference hierarchy. I do think that they can hang with those teams. It just, until you prove it to me, until the coach proves it to me, until everybody, who's been here the last handful of years, everybody, until they all prove it to me, like if you can't beat the 6-seeded Hawks with home court advantage in the second round, you don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. So did they get better? Maybe on paper. Are the results going to be the same? Why should I believe any different?
We shall.
JJ, did they get any better? That's the question we're all wondering.
I'm going to surprise both of y'all with this one. Addition by subtraction, my friend. Addition by subtraction. They got better in the morale sense at the very least of getting rid of the headache that is the player, Ben Simmons, and the headache of the thought of how do we utilize him? That thought is he's going to be there. But for all intents and purposes, he's showing up so he don't get fined. Not for all intents and purposes. He is actually showing up so we don't get fined. He is Marshawn lynching.
Marshawn lynching.
Personified. Okay? But they absolutely got better because that cancer is on its way out. Now, I'm full of analogies today. When you get rid of a virus, when you get rid of a cancer, do you just hop up out of the hospital bed and run out the hospital all well? No. It takes you a little bit to get your strength back, to get your feet back, for your body to adjust. Now that cancer is out of you, how do we start building those muscles again to get us back to full strength? And right now, you guys are in PT, you guys are in physical therapy, you're in rehab. That cancer is on its way out, and you're now building those muscles again to get back to contention. And like you just said, Max, we're turning largely the same roster, which means your MVP-esque center is still there. One of the best shooters in the NBA in Seth Curry is still there. A Tobias Harris with an open floor now and more ball handling responsibilities is still there. Tyrese Maxey, the guy who exploded onto the scene last year, one of the bright spot rookies of the league, is still there. Okay. So that now it's time to build those muscles to get back to where the Sixers can be. And hopefully a piece or two comes along the way to help them. Is it a this year thing? Maybe not. But that cancer is on its way out. And now you guys are taking big steps to get to ring the bell. So look at that analogy too. But you guys get to start taking those steps now to a healthy outlook.
Real quick before I ask the next question, JJ, higher or lower than 3.5 seed going to the playoffs?
Can't be a half seed, so that's a tough one. But lower. Okay. I do think 4 is more of the speed, is more of the range. I'll save my actual reason as to why in rapid fire, but I think 4 seed is about the speed.
All right, Digits, your thoughts?
I mean, I know if I say over in the expectation that they'll get 3, they'll inevitably end up in a 4-5 matchup. So I'll go.
That's how it happens, man. How the world works.
That's how it happens.
Man, yeah, no, I'm the same way. I think they don't get the top 3 this year, but
hey,
that
man,
doesn't
hide in the 4-5 matchup.
Yeah, I was just about to
Avoid
say.
of expectation, man.
I can see them having a pretty bumpy start to the year and then turning it around later in the year, which, hey, that's when it really matters. But I don't see them, doing the thing they did last year and just beating up on everyone and going to the playoffs as the one.
Still going to be a great home team. Always.
All right, boys. There it is. We didn't talk about this like once.
The picture on the bottom left
just
of the
quick
graphic,
round of applause for us because
that is true. We
have been so adamantly avoiding talking about this.
Why?
It was purposeful. It was purposeful.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and that's what I mean. Great job sticking to the game plan for all these weeks and months.
I wish I had some different nuance to throw onto this question, or let's approach this differently than anyone else. You can't. We really can't. There's only one way to put it. JJ, tell me, how long is Ben Simmons on this team, and when or will he at all take the court for the 76ers?
Ben Simmons is going to take the court, and I think that was part of the win,
the unspoken agreement.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That
you can say. I think we all know what happened.
You know what I mean? It happens. Politics behind the scenes, but you will play because playing drives his value up. It's in Ben Simmons' best interest to play. It's not in his best interest to sit and collect dust on the sideline. You are a broken asset. I need to see that you're fixed a little bit before I want to trade for you. I don't know that you got better by just sitting there. I don't know that your head's still in the game by just sitting on the sideline. You're showing me you're disengaged. Your value needs to go up. So that's what Daryl Morey said. You're going to play because your value needs to go up. And if you really want to get out of here, you'll play well so we can get you out of here as quick as possible. I think the All-Star break, well, it has to be if he's going to get traded. The All-Star break is probably the deadline's the NBA's deadline, but I don't think he'll be a Sixer past the All-Star break or a week or two after the NBA trade deadline happens. But I see a similar situation happening when Anthony Davis left the New Orleans Pelicans, where very public, very outspoken. I don't want to be here. I don't want to play here, but I will. On a minutes restriction, on a 25-minute minutes restriction, you won't see me dive for a loose ball. You won't see me box out a hard opponent. You won't see me try to dunk on someone. I'm not going to go flying into the stands. I'm going to come here. I'm going to give you a light 15 and 10, and I'm going to sit my behind down. I don't care how close the game is. I don't care if we're in playoff contention. I don't care. When 25-minute marker hits, I'm going to take my foul right here on somebody, untuck my jersey, put my warm-ups on, and go ahead and sit down and wait for my agent to call me to see where we're going next. That's the plan. That's the exact plan I see for Ben Simmons. And I think to our point again, Max, I think that was the other part of the unspoken agreement. I will play, but man, with 25 minutes hit, like if you want me to play at the end of the game, I better sub in with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter with 20 minutes played. If you want me to end the game, that's how it has to happen because I'm not playing past 25.
No, well, we don't want him in at the end of the game.
Everybody wins then. Everybody wins.
Honestly, give him the whole first half and the first minute of the third quarter.
And sit him down.
Have a seat. Goodbye, buddy.
And sit him down.
That's what we're thinking.
Man, I'll say this. I tried to defend him as long as I could. It's done.
Why?
Because he was the promised one. Like he was the first number 1 overall pick we had in decades. Like he was going to be the one that
to be the chosen one.
Exactly. He was supposed to be the chosen one. Like he was supposed to be that second punch, that absurd talent that we were going to groom to, to new heights like we did with Embiid. And it just never happened. And it's so frustrating because, it's very seldom you have the opportunity to draft someone who has a legitimate potential to alter the course of your franchise. And I think that Ben Simmons had that potential for any team that would have got him at number one. I think, we've talked about this before. I don't think he likes the game as much as he used to. I think he likes a lot that comes with it now. But he was absolutely dominant. He was absolutely dominant when I'm going to say the Eagles, when the Sixers drafted him out of LSU, and he didn't give a shit there. And he still absolutely dominated in college. He was, he did his 1 year to get to the NBA, and that's what he did. And it sucks, right? So I'm going to say this. It does seem like it's better for all parties involved for him to play. I would be shocked if he is still a Sixer come Christmas, let alone the All-Star break.
Really? Well,
me too.
I do think they're going to
try to work. I do think they're going to try to work it. You didn't, James? Is that you said James Harden? Try to look at James Harden
in terms of situation, because you got to remember this isn't like Anthony Davis where he can just wait out the year and then he can put the pressure on the team, being like, I have 1 year on my contract left. You can either trade me now and get something, or I just leave after next year. We can do this again. And Simmons doesn't have that kind of power. So I think that I don't think that it's going to be able to play out like an Anthony Davis situation. I think it's going to be more like a Harden thing where I guess it's not going to be as bad blooded because Harden kind of had to like push his way out, where it seems like both sides are cool with this. But I think that it's just in the best interest of everyone for Simmons to get traded to his new team sooner rather than later. That way the Sixers can get their new pieces integrated in. That way Simmons can mesh with his new team as early as possible. Like whoever trades for Simmons, I feel like is going to be someone who has been, in Daryl Morey's ear for months and months and months at this point. And it's not just going to be a spur of the moment type interest. So I feel like by the time things are decided and figured out, they're just going to want to be done with it. They're going to be like, look, let me just get this guy over here. Let's just get this done with. Let's just move on with our respective lives here. Get this trade done. Get it approved by Mr. Silver's office. And best of luck to you the rest of the season. I think that would be best for Sixers, Simmons, and unnamed third party.
Right. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. And I'm nitpicking here, but the only reason I don't think it's a James Harden situation is because when everyone was training for James Harden, they knew they were getting James Harden. I know I'm getting James Harden.
There we go.
Chubby or not, he can lose the weight. When he loses the weight, he's going to be James Harden again. That was just a demonstration. That was a kind of public display of dissatisfaction from him for the front office. But when I trade for him and he hits the treadmill, that's still going to be James Harden. Yeah. I don't know who I'm trading for when I get Ben Simmons. I know who I'm supposed to be getting, but I don't know who, I don't know what I'm getting. So it's like James Harden, the Rockets always had the luxury of like, we're going to get something for him because the other team knows this is James Harden. The Sixers still have to try to sell Ben Simmons. There's still, some sort of sales tactic with it. So like, as much as you don't want your team's success to hang on Ben Simmons, like if you're Daryl Morey, like, dag, I kind of need him to play well. Like I kind of need him to do well when he's out there. Yeah. You can't just be a bottom.
I feel that.
So fellas, regarding, he's going to play. He's not going to play tomorrow, right? We can all agree on that, right? He's not playing.
I'd be very good to be. In the only 40-second clip I saw of him in practice, he had his phone in his pocket.
Yeah.
So like, I really don't think.
Did you see the video of him? They all huddle up and they're like, all right, 1, 2, 3 team. And he's like, doesn't even do it and just walks away.
It looked because we know the media wasn't available for practice. The media was available for a very specific amount of time. It looked staged. It looked like they're going to say, Ben, we're going to put you here. Like one single camera. When do you ever see one single camera shot at a practice?
He's like barely in the frame.
One camera shot. No one else is in the frame. The only person I see in the frame is Tobias on his phone on the baseline. One single frame. Here, Brett, what drill are they doing? He's like shuffling back and forth, throwing his hands in the air. Like, what are you doing? It looked like, hey, Ben, here's a camera time. So ESPN and Woj got something to post so everyone can, we can continue to drive the narrative that you're here. Like, it really looked staged to me. I hated it.
Damn.
And he looked pissed.
I didn't think about that, but now I'm not going to be able to unsee it. Everything I see now is I'm just going to have to envision the
The phone being in the pocket. Once I saw the phone in the pocket, I further investigated the video because I was like, "This can't be real." Player. Max, you go to the Y, and the first thing you do when you put your shoes on is you throw your phone in the bag. Like, who's got their phone in their pocket? What?
Wallet, keys in the phone, all right on the little shelf.
All in the bag. I'm about to run hoops, so like, no way an NBA player's got his phone in his pocket. Screen open, probably was on Instagram and threw it in when the drill started.
It just shows you how much the guy does not.
Not even enough of a professional to put his screen side down.
Hey, man.
Okay, fellas, I want to try to figure out real quick what game he will play. Okay, he's not going to play the season opener. There's no way in hell he plays the home opener.
No, definitely not.
That's not first like road trip. First
road game after the home opener.
Yeah, so the first is perfect. He's going to OKC. There's no one cares.
That's perfect.
I mean, come on, that's a layup. That's a layup. Shut it down.
No one's gonna be there. People barely know how to find Oklahoma City, so that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yep.
So wait, then I got another theory too because there's something that caught my eye. So he's not going to play in MSG because then that's the game after OKC. He's probably going to make up some rest injury that he's got to sit out the game in MSG.
Too close. Too close. MSG is only like a 2-hour ride.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's too close.
I think he plays though. I mean, I think he's going to play at home eventually. I think he plays against the Pistons. And
it's gonna be a bad team. It's gonna be a bad team.
It's a Tuesday or Thursday night
nice
game.
18, 14, and 12 spot.
They really lucked up.
Value.
Ben Simmons' return is scripted in the schedule. They really lucked up in the
schedule. Fellas, want to throw it out there? Tickets for that game? $8. I might scoop them up now.
Yeah, Ben Simmons returns.
Did you see Cade? Only like 100.
Did you see Cade Cunningham too? Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh, it's a good call.
Everyone's going to be talking about how Ben Simmons locked up the #1 overall pick. I mean,
hey, narrative.
To the moon, baby.
Stop driving. Stock through the roof.
I say after this episode, we start talking good about him in case any other teams or any other regions.
Gotta
I'm about to go under all of Woj's tweets, be like, "Wow, Ben Simmons looks so good." And
we gotta become the Wolf on Broad Street.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, then fellas, the last thing about Ben Simmons, then we gotta hit halftime here. The Hawks come to town on October 30th, boys. There is no shot he plays against the Hawks, right? Like,
no,
he doesn't care.
No.
He's way too scared.
When is it? October 30th?
October 30th. And then
end of the first month. I think he plays against the Hawks.
Woo!
I think it's part of the narrative. I
will say this. Ben Simmons, it does seem like the only time you can ever really get him up for a game is if he is if he's playing like, angry. And I can see him channeling his anger towards the Sixers fan base into that game.
Yeah. And Ben Simmons plays his best out of spite. This is
exactly.
This game will be to the fans like, there, y'all happy? I did it. Like, y'all happy? Yeah, absolutely. He plays.
I feel like, really quick before we move on, I feel like Ben Simmons is maybe the best player in NBA history that when you play a team like either home and home or like you play them home and home like a week or two apart, like that second game, he's just like, I remember you from a couple weeks ago, and he just goes crazy those second games.
He's petty.
Yeah, I think the Hawks have all the real estate in Ben Simmons' head, though. I really do. And I don't know.
Probably they should.
I think he's a coward. I think he's an absolute coward. All right, fellas, we got to hit our halftime. It's always time to remind you, we're brought to you by PHL Sports Nation. You can go check out, I'm sure they got hundreds of Ben Simmons articles on PHLSportsNation.com and maybe a little gambling content from Digits and myself coming up on there shortly. Maybe sometime in this NFL season. Not what our Digits and I have been doing lately. We got to get our act together if we want to be, if we want to make it big time. I mean, that's it. That's a topic for Friday. However, real quick, my prediction for when he gets traded: the day after Thanksgiving, because I'm going to my grandparents in Virginia. I haven't seen them. The last time I saw them and went to their house was the day Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash. Rest in peace. So there's just some NBA aura about going to my grandparents' house. Watch out for Thanksgiving.
It's a very powerful aura. It's a very powerful aura. Like,
Adam Silver's got some juju magic sprinkled on your grandparents' house.
Let's hope the same cosmic powers aren't at play when you go down this time.
Maybe in a much better
more positive outcome.
Yeah, right.
Fellas, we're moving on. It's been a while since we've done rapid fire, but there's too much going on right now to try and pinpoint one little game or another. We're just going rapid fire. I got a feeling a couple of these might not be so rapid. So on the topic, are you fellas jaded? going into this season, or are you somehow able to view the Sixers? Are you like excited for the Sixers? Are you kind of number 25 has got you bogged down? JJ, I know you're a CP3 fan, so I'll come to Digits first.
I mean, I guess by default I have to answer yes here because I haven't really had last year going into the season I was definitely kind of juiced up, and I guess I've just been oppressing all of my Sixers thoughts for so many months here. It's just like, season starting tomorrow or Wednesday, 2 days from now, and so I guess I have to answer yes because that's the honest answer here without even realizing it. So I'll say this, I'm still going to be, I'm still going to be locked in. I'm still going to be watching the games. I think that it'll just kind of feel like preseason to me until we have our real team after Simmons trade. Like, like you're like, oh, the final roster's not going to
like it doesn't matter. Yeah, like almost like this doesn't matter. Yeah,
exactly. Like the final roster's not going to look like this. Who cares? So yeah.
JJ, I mean, look, you're a Sixers fan as much as you are a CP3 fan.
Nothing against. I root for them if they're playing any other team besides Chris Paul team. But Digits, I think your answer is a microcosm of the feeling towards the Sixers right now. Because who in the city of Philadelphia has thought about basketball all off season? Not the Sixers, but basketball. And just like you said, like you looked up and the season started tomorrow, like, I think a lot of people in the Sixers organization did because the focus hasn't been on basketball. People in the Lakers organization, they've known the season starts tomorrow for months because the focus has been on basketball. The Nets has been on basketball, Bucks, Suns, basketball. The Sixers has been about everything but. So from that standpoint, I'm interested to see. I'm not excited about the Sixers season. I'm interested to see how they come out. Because just like I said, if none of us in the city have thought about basketball, I know none of them have thought about basketball in the entire offseason. So when you got to come together real quick, and Ben Simmons showed up a week before the season started, he's got to go in at some point. We've got to figure out how we're going to do that. I'm interested to see like how the team comes out, how it happens. If Ben Simmons gets the first and one of the season, do people get hyped for him? Does it get dapped up? Like what happens?
The crowd goes mild.
Yeah, the crowd goes mild. But what happens? Like I'm very interested. Does Doc put a lot of responsibility on him? Does he still get the primary defensive lock, or does that Tease now? Like what happens? I'm very interested to see.
All right, fellas. Wait, I gotta answer this first.
Go ahead, yeah. Put your man.
Yes, hell yes. This has me feeling incredibly jaded, and I almost forgot like Joel Embiid was on the team. You know what I mean? Not that far, but like I freaking love Joel Embiid. Like he's might be my favorite athlete in the city, and I can't even. I don't feel like I can enjoy him, and I will watch on Wednesday, and I'll be very happy to watch Joel play. But I am jaded to the point where I'm watching the Flyers, fellas. And in fact, I'll be tuning in once we get off of this episode. And that brings me right to my next question. JJ,
I know that makes you happy, man. I know that makes you happy.
One game in, they're pulling at my heartstrings. They don't score a goal for like 25 minutes of game time and score twice in the last 240 to 10 it to overtime and then proceed to lose. So, I mean, we are off to a flying start. We're so back. We are off to a flying start.
Yeah, and on that flying start, if you watch the game, I don't think it would take – even I, and not a hockey guy, thought our guy Cat a Hat looked pretty darn bad. And that was a big talking point of last season. I'll go to Max first. JJ, you can throw in.
You probably should go to me first. You probably should go to me first.
But I don't even know what you're going to say. All right, JJ.
Exactly.
Quick, get out the way. Quick, get out the way. Your heart can take them.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that hockey. Yeah, absolutely.
Digits
over to you. Digits over to you.
It's the Chance the Rapper on the Saturday Night Live.
Let's do that hockey. Digits over to you.
Look, man, I'll say this: the Flyers for like the second year in a row have absolutely had all of their defensive pairings just totally reshuffled top to bottom, and that very frequently reflects into goalie performance. I mean, Carter Hart is still a very talented goalie, but you do have to remember he is young. He is still relatively inexperienced. He's not a seasoned vet. He's not, and maybe he shouldn't be. To the extent that all goalies have control over their defense and how things go. But it's not fair to put all that responsibility on him when especially even saw it with Matt Niskanen a couple of years ago, having a 34-year-old, 35-year-old number one defender out there, more than a third of a game out there helping your young goalie and not leaving him on an island to not only have to worry about all the physical stuff that he has to do as a goalie, but all the mental stuff that goes into, making sure angles are covered up or yelling out where the puck is. Like the Flyers left this guy on an island last year and he struggled because of it. And that's not only his fault. They were wildly inconsistent as they seem to be at times. So I'll say this, the Flyers will only go as far as their team will take them. It's not fair to put the expectations of the world on a 22-year-old goalie or 23-year-old goalie when the team is projected to be literally one of the worst three in their conference. So if the Flyers were projected to be a powerhouse and they're projected to be competing for a cup, then maybe yes, they can only go as far in the playoffs as a goalie will take them. But I don't think that we should be expecting them to be able to hang with with the Lightning and with the Capitals on a in a 7-game series if it were ever coming.
Man, all right.
And that's talking hockey.
I wasn't aware that they were projected bottom 3. Like that
they're projected pretty low. I mean, the East. I mean, the East is absolutely loaded. It's to put it in NBA terms for all the people at home. I mean, it was the Western Conference while LeBron was in Cleveland, both stints. That's what the Eastern Conference in hockey is.
Man.
So I'll say this: there's like always hockey is like baseball, where there's always like. Yeah, maybe you'll have your Red Sox or your Astros who will be good, but then like it feels like everyone who's like 4 through 15 is just like could be totally wrong about them, and I kind of feel like the Flyers could be one of those teams where people are just totally wrong about them, and they make it in the bottom half of the playoff bracket instead of like the Islanders or the Hurricanes or something like that. So hockey's very weird. Like a couple of years ago, the Stanley Cup or the St. Louis Blues fired their head coach when they were last in the league in January and then won the Stanley Cup as a 7 seed. So like
Nate McMillan vibes.
Exactly. Like who cares about what happens? Who cares about what happens, the first 2/3 of the season?
Fair play. Hey, I'm hoping the same for the Sixers here, based on my little prediction here. Real quick, I think sort of yes, although I will be honest, my viewpoint did get changed once I learned the Flyers were not projected to be good. I thought they were like fringe. No, they could make the playoffs.
I think it depends on where you look. Like maybe if you're looking around here, maybe the outlook will be more positive. But from the little bit of national hockey media I consume, it seems like the Flyers are most certainly not projected to make the playoffs in the East.
Fair play. I watched that game. Their opening game. Yeah, it was 4-4 going into overtime. The goals that Carter Hart let in and the goals that Thatcher Demko let in were two different stories. I'll say that much. And after the whole, the shaky Carson Wentz comps from Carter Hart last year, I can't help. I see ghosts. It might be natural. I'm nervous. I think they only go as far as kind of hot takes them. And then, the clock's ticking with Claude Giroux. I know you meant digits. You don't need me to tell you that. That's for sure. So I'm nervous. Right,
controversial athlete. Very controversial to their fan base.
Oh, I know.
Different conversation.
I've spewed my takes and they're not popular. So moving on before we open that can of worms. Final rapid fire before we have to hit those winners and losers because that's on me. That's a pat the chest. Forgot the winners and losers there for a second.
It's a filling moment. You're a substitute teacher. It's all right.
I'm like the Jalen Hurts of this show. Whoa,
you're a bridge host.
Anyways, boys, JJ, I want to hear it. We're dishing out hot takes here. Way too early. Season hasn't even started. I want a spicy meatball. What is it?
The Boston Celtics are ready for their deep playoff run. I know they had it. Jason Tatum's rookie year.
JJ, I hate to say it. I agree, man.
I think it's this time. I think they finally realized what special talent they have in Jaylen Brown, and it takes missing something or not having something to truly appreciate it. So I think the offense is going to go more to a 2-crown system and not Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown filling underneath. It's going to be more of both of them at the head of it. They get rid of Kemba Walker. They bring in or trade for Josh Richardson that helps their defensive identity that they like. They get a big man depth in Enes Kanter. I think that's good for them. And Al Horford too. That's good for them. He knows the identity of that team. I just think it's time and ready to go. Jason Tatum is starting to make that leap into that next category of superstardom, and I think it's their time, man. It's the reason why, to circle back. The reason why I have the Sixers, under that 3.5 projection or 3.5 line, that over and under that you put for me, Josh, because I think the Celtics are about to leapfrog a bunch of people.
We are on the same page in that one. That wasn't my take, but it was kind of why I don't feel as good as the Sixers. I look over at the Celtics and wow,
I see it. I see it.
Whew, that was a tough pill to swallow, but one I needed. Digits, give us a hot one.
Oh man, I don't want to take the easy way out of this. I was going to do something with Luka and the Mavs, but I'll go a little bit spicier since that's what we're doing here. This is going to be the year that the Portland Trailblazers make it out of the Western Conference.
Stop that now.
Yo, Max, I love everything about that. I love everything about that. Even if it means running over Chris Paul in the process, there's something about the conviction and the way you said that I love it.
I think that in a year or especially in a sport where it's always easy and popular to take the sexy teams like the Lakers or the Warriors or the Nets or the Bucks or whoever it is, right? There's always going to be a team that surprises people. I think that the Blazers are, I almost want to say, due for some positive regression. The last couple of years, their front court has just been absolutely decimated by injuries basically throughout the season. And it just kind of feels like, they have enough continuity. They have a good enough roster. I think that they're still going to struggle defensively. But I think that Damian Lillard is one of the best players in the NBA. I think that team knows that they have a very limited window, and it feels like that this could be their real last chance to figure it all out and put it all together. And I think the West is more open than most people would. I think people think the West is open, but I think they think it's only open for the Lakers or the Suns.
And let's not overlook. I think Chauncey Billups is a really good addition to them. One, he's a culture kind of person. He comes from, his heydays, his most successful seasons were a team where the whole was better than the sum of its parts. Like when the Pistons acted together, they were better than each individual player could have been for them. And now a championship point guard knows how to elevate Damian Lillard. Terry Stotts wasn't for Damian Lillard. I think Chauncey Billups can be for Damian Lillard. I think that's going to be good for him, man.
Fellas, you guys gave some real spicy takes.
I love that one, bro. I love that one.
I like the Celtics a lot this year. That they're the team I had in mind. That's why I don't think the Sixers will finish in the top 3.
I feel a bit lackluster as my take now, but I can't muster up anything.
You? Not a spicy take? I don't believe it.
I thought
Jalen Hurts will lead the Nets to the title as their point guard.
So, yeah, my take here is it's a Ball brother gets MVP votes this year. And I'm not going to specify which one.
There's no lack of spice in it. There's no lack of spice in it. Let me tell you, though. There's no lack of spice in it.
I like that, Josh.
I was curious because I was like, who did get votes last year? Julius Randle and Derrick Rose got a vote last year for MVP.
Derrick Rose got a one fan got overzealous.
Like that was kind of like a big story that someone voted Derrick Rose for MVP.
So that kind of was like, is it really that spicy if Derrick Rose got it? But I don't know, man. I love LaMelo. I mean, it's hard not to love LaMelo. I mean, it's not like I'm fan over him. I just respect. This kid's really good. And then Lonzo, man, I've always rooted for him. I've always liked him.
I think Chicago's the one. I think Chicago's the one.
Let me tell you that much. I think that team is a dark horse to not win anything real, but make some noise. Let's call it. I think
they're the Hawks of last year. That Bulls this year are the Hawks of last year.
I don't know if I can ever compare anything to the Hawks of last year. That was crazy, and I don't want to.
So the Bulls are going to break a number 1 seeded fan base's heart. Good for them.
Yeah,
the Nets got something coming for them. Yeah, Nets got something coming for them.
Fellas, we normally would be wrapping the show up, but I forgot about our favorite segment that we usually do at halftime, and we are not just going to go without it. Winners and losers from
give the people what they want.
Here we go. Around the horn. We want to start with winners this week. Mr. James Jackson, who was your week 6 winner?
The Baltimore Ravens. In particular, Lamar Jackson. any person out there who's still doubting Lamar Jackson, shut up. I don't want to hear you for the rest of the season. Really. You don't know football. You don't know what you're watching. The people who doubted him to start damn near don't know football. But the people who got something to say about Lamar Jackson right now after doing that to the Chargers, and I don't want to hear anything about a West Coast team. They had to come to the East Coast and play at 9 and 10 in the morning their time. But what, bro? What? You strap on a chin strap just like they strap on a chin strap, man. You came here on Friday. You had 2 days to adjust to this thing, man. It's not new to you. I don't want to hear it. Lamar Jackson got no offensive line. He got no running backs. And Hollywood Brown's his number one quarterback. But all this man's doing is throwing for 400 yards a game and winning football games against teams that he shouldn't. I don't want to hear anything else, man. The Ravens are the winners of this week for sure.
Yeah, I love it. I love Lamar. He's still just a running back, right?
Not bad for a running back, man. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Digits, winner week 6.
I gotta say, man, I'm eating a little bit of crow about the Arizona Cardinals this year. Normally in years past, I would have said it's a big positive that they don't have Cliff Kingsbury on the sideline coaching for them. And they went to the Browns and they handled them with no issues whatsoever. The Cardinals defense is clearly not bad, or at least not nearly as bad as people thought it might be.
No Chandler Jones either.
No Chandler Jones in that game. Yep. DeAndre Hopkins came alive that game. Kyler Murray, clear-cut MVP favorite as far as I'm concerned at this point in the season, especially with Justin Herbert and the Chargers losing so handily the way they did to the Ravens. I think that was a really, really impressive win for the Cardinals as an organization. They were able to go on the road to a team that was coming off an ugly loss with back-to-back home games. Like the Browns had everything working for them in their favor. When you're the last undefeated team left, everyone wants a piece of you. They went in there with backup, with their full game plan, but with backup coaches and backup faces executing, and they walked out of there with a comfortable victory. And I gave Banners, a lot of nudges and a lot of shit when he picked the Cardinals as his NFC West winner. And it seems like that Banners is getting the last laugh here, maybe 6 weeks into the season. Still a lot of time to change. I still am a a little bit of a Cliff Kingsbury hater. They got off to a
really hot start last year too.
They did not like this. They looked way better. Yeah. I'm still not totally sold on Cliff Kingsbury. He needs to knock out Sean McVay or a good coach in the playoffs for me to maybe start having some real faith in him. But as of now, I think the Cardinals, if they're not number one in your league power rankings, I think that your league power rankings are probably wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And maybe also pending on the game that starts in a few minutes. I know a lot of people got the Bills number one.
That's true. Hey man, if the Bills clobber the Titans, then
I don't think Josh Allen can go to number one in MVP because he lost to Kyler Murray and those Cardinals. But I think he can go right back to number 2 if he has a good game tonight.
My week 6 winner is who? Come on, who else? It's the bad man. Look at this guy. And talk about going about Ben Simmons, the James Harden thing the right way. Aaron Rodgers is just an honest guy. And when it comes to the press conference, I can't speak for his character behind closed doors, but when it comes to addressing the media, this guy always keeps it 100. And the second best press conference of the moment this week was Aaron Rodgers. I think I'll touch on the best in a moment. But the second best was Aaron Rodgers when he just talked about what he yelled to the Bears fans. I own you. And in an age where we've all seen it dwindle in front of our eyes, rivalries in sports, it's becoming kind of non-existent. It's just a very spread the love era. And that's just a man who took this game a little bit more personally. He takes the Bears games a little bit more personally. And I want more of that in football. I just love seeing a guy like that compete and dominate after all these years and after all this drama. So I love Aaron Rodgers. We're going back around the other way for losers this time. Digits, who lost big week 6?
And I'm sure I'm taking one of your guys, but man, talk about quarterbacks who aren't NFL caliber. Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, it's just not it. He's just not it. I would say the Dolphins as a whole, but actually, no. What I'm going to say the Dolphins as a whole.
They lost. They
still have a path to other quarterbacks, but I mean, they owe us their first round pick straight up, and that's going to be a huge piece for the Eagles. When a year ago the Dolphins had the best secondary in the league and snuck into the playoffs with efficient enough but low-powered offense and a really, really good defense. And, it just kind of shows, the difference in quarterback that Tua is to Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't know. It feels easy to pile onto them because they lost in London to the Jaguars and LOL, it's the Jaguars.
They couldn't make it out this segment without being someone's losers. We wouldn't be doing our job.
They deserve to be. They deserve to be. Their offensive line is so bad. It's honestly insane. Just thank God I'm not a Dolphins fan. Thank God.
Yeah, that's my dad. He's pain. Pain is his mantra.
If I was a Dolphins fan, at least I'd be on the right side of the Tua thing from the start. There's no way I would have been able to delude myself into him.
Me too.
Yeah.
JJ, loser, week 6. Who we got?
Not the Seahawks as a whole, although I very could make it the Seahawks as a whole. DK Metcalf, in particular, I think is the loser of this week. One, if he didn't actually cost them the game, it was one of the series of unfortunate events that lost to the game. But dog, the entire reason you ran that out route is to go out of bounds. The sole reason you ran that out route is to catch the ball and to go out of bounds. What are you doing? What are you doing, dog? There's 13 seconds on the clock. Why are you trying to advance the ball? And what do you think they're gonna try to do when you do? I can't tackle DK, but he's in bounds. I'm trying to punch the ball out. I don't understand. And then to compound it, when you are getting criticized by one of the best pass catchers to ever do it, rightfully so, by the way. That's one thing I don't get about players sometimes. If you do something boneheaded, you got to be humble enough to Shannon Sharp's being a little demonstrative on TV. But, dog, that was a really dumb play, and you're a very good player. You got to be able to take it sometimes. That was a really stupid play. Yeah. And instead of just taking it and probably earning a little bit of respect for people from being able to take it, you fire back at Shannon Sharp and call him a washed-up wannabe. Excuse what?
That man's in the Hall of Fame.
We all say things when we're angry.
That's a Hall of Famer. That's just one of the best tight ends to ever suit. That's Shannon Sharp. What? I know you wear a pacifier as a mouthpiece, but you can't be that much of a baby that you don't know who Shannon Sharp is. Don't talk about Unc like that.
Yeah.
Because you will be quickly, and then you gotta love social media, man. Because right after it happens, NFL Throwback puts a Shannon Sharp video up of just reminding everyone. Bleacher Report, Gridiron reposts it, and it's no one added DK, but it's hey man, just to remind you who you coming at now. Do your homework before you come at somebody.
And then he got the call from the team PR because a couple hours later he put up he tweeted out, he's like, my bad, you're right. I should want to be more
Hey. What are you doing? That's absolutely Max.
He got the call.
It's his manager. Somebody's age. Somebody called him, was not Shannon, bro. He not the one.
That man is on TV every day. You're
every
on TV
day.
Once a week.
He could make your life hell every day for the next week if he wanted to. And that's not what we need right now. DK. Man, DK stands for don't know because he don't know what he's doing.
And man, it's got to be DK, not the Seahawks. I don't know. The Seahawks, I was shocked they had any business in that game.
Yeah, I was about to say, no, Russ.
The Steelers suck. The Steelers were 14-0 at halftime, 17-0 at halftime, and that game went to 20-20 in overtime.
They got run over by frickin' Alex Collins. Come on.
No. The Steelers would have just been the collective losers if they lost that game.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. My loser of week 6 is Jared Goof.
Goofy.
This guy, if there was any question, the team sucks, right? The Lions suck. But it's not just because they're 0-6. They're bad. It's because at the end of the game, Dan Campbell's my favorite press conference moment I've seen in such a long time.
He didn't want to say it, Josh. He held off on saying it for so long,
dude,
and then it fired out. Then he couldn't.
I want to know whoever the reporter was asked, give him a raise. You know what I mean? That was I didn't hear the question. This man paused there on the stand, looked down for you could time it. I guarantee you, it's 10 whole seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, might be making a little noise too. And he looks deadpan and goes, I think Jared Goff needs to do more than what he's doing. He says something to that effect.
He was trying to figure out how do I softly say this and couldn't figure out. So he was like, screw it. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. There's no, and he's right, man. There's no comfortable way to say that. There's no comfortable way to say that.
Dan Campbell's bonus winner. Dan Campbell. He's the most secure job I've ever seen for someone who's 0-6 in my life.
Oh yeah. It's not him.
Love Dan Campbell. Yeah,
That's
and the Bengals
hilarious.
trounced them. I didn't bet on it, but I did have a weird feeling about the Lions. But woo-wee, fellas. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I mean, it's hilarious. Fellas, we're tapping out.
So I'm gonna have to.
You haven't seen it?
No,
I swear to God, I didn't even hear about this until
Dan Campbell's
awesome.
first of all, Dan Campbell's must-see TV anytime he's got a press conference. So I'm tuning in.
Anyone got a good tap out for us?
Yeah, I got one. So I went to my little brother's Pee Wee football game. So in my hometown or my home area, the high school conference that I played in has a futures league where all the schools have like a farm system of football teams of every age group of the middle schoolers. So it's
brilliant.
Yeah, it's a brilliant move. I don't know why they didn't do it sooner. Efficient. The coaches know, from 7 years old, he's gonna be my running back when he comes to high school. Like they can see it, get to know the players, whatever. It's good, friendly competition. So I attended his game yesterday, and it was good, a nice, easy game. But I don't understand why parents can't go and enjoy the game. I understand Timmy's mom that you want Timmy to play more. Hey, Johnny's dad, I get it. That's not where Johnny normally plays. But guess what? They're 11 and 12 years old. Coach ain't worried about Johnny. Coach worried about how do I get through these next 2.5 hours with everybody healthy, and how do I get to go home so I can watch the 4:00 games? Like that's what he's worried about. So I always want to say to parents who are making the game, like who are making a scene on the sidelines, this is not your game. This is not. And if you ask any one of the kids who are out there, they're not happy. They're not saying thank you, mom, for yelling at the coach from the bleachers.
Yeah.
But that's hella embarrassing. Hella embarrassing for the kids sitting there. And every time I see a parent doing something, everyone's looking at the parent. I'm looking at the parent's kid. Because sometimes I don't even know whose parent that is. But I can tell as soon as I look on the sideline, I know whose parent that is. Because that kid is terrified right now. Like there's a way to say it. There's a time and a place to let the coach know I'm frustrated about how you're dealing with my kid and situation, whatever. To publicly berate them on the sideline is not the time to do it. Because little Johnny is hating his life right now because his mom popping off on the coach. And the coach not even listening to him. The coach not even hearing what you're saying, man. So,
man,
if you're one of these parents, please just go to the game, watch it, and you can send a strongly worded email to the coach afterwards if that's what you want to do. But not during the game, man. Let little Johnny and little Timmy play, please.
Man, I wish I'm the older brother and I got 2 younger sisters. I feel like I missed out on a whole spectacle there. Like that sounds like good entertainment.
Guys, you should go. There's one.
Just go.
There's one damn near 2 at every game. And it's the same one. You just go. You'll find them.
No brother, nothing. Just weird college kids showing up at these Pop Warner games for the reality TV.
Just show up. Act like you're somebody's brother on the team and just watch the show.
Pick a number every time they do something. Just clap.
Yeah, it's clap. Yeah, there you go.
And yell their number. Attaboy 12.
I'd be thinking that's older brother. Of course.
Fellas, by the way, I really thought I had a chance going into my pick'em tonight. I picked the Titans, and I only had 2 losses in my pick'em. Went out of my way to send an email to the main guy just because I was so desperate. I am not in the running. 2 guys only had 1 loss.
Two losses, and you thought you had a chance? Come on.
But every week, 2 losses is the winner. Like every week, 2 losses is the winner. There's a lot of
now that there's 6 less games happening, 4 less games happening.
Yeah, there you go. Digits, you got a tap out?
Honestly, I don't. I will just say that 2020, if you're not already on the wave, make 2022 the year of mouth care. Because I mean, this shit's changing my life. Lightning strips, the electric flosser.
You talked about the oral hygiene last week.
I'm like committed. I'm like committed now. I forgot to do it on Saturday, or excuse me, on Friday when I went out. And I was like, oh my god,
mouth just felt.
Oh my god, I was supposed to do it for 2 weeks straight, and I missed a day. Like now, my teeth aren't going to get white or something. You know what I mean? Like I missed one day.
You have to come back to the dentistry school here, huh? Yeah.
I might have to. Honestly, I might volunteer for one of those Temple dentistry little trials or something. I can use
I love it. I can
use a free teeth clean. I know that by the time you're a junior, you probably know how to do that. So hit me.
Well, Dentist digits. There we go. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy, JJ. You obviously the best tap out. But if someone needs something, respond to their emails. You know, like 97% of the time when I'm, trying to work something out, like, oh, I need to interview this, that, and the other for my show on Thursday, I get an email. Every now and then, no response. It's like, how hard could it be? I'm asking for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Just check the emails. You might have missed something. So
at least tell me. At the very least,
at least tell me no if you're not interested.
Just tell me no. I can move on with my life. Yeah,
just give me the closure.
My life. Absolutely. I feel you, man.
Listen, because I'm bad. I'm susceptible to not respond to a text here and there. We all do it. But when these are business emails here, come on, just tell me no.
It's the journalist's biggest pain. It's just not getting a response.
Yeah. Well, that'll wrap it up for us. If you missed the show, you can check us out on any podcast platform. I personally recommend Spotify. Just, if you got Spotify, it seems to be the best. But hey, I don't care. We'll take a listen any way we can get it. Digits, JJ, a pleasure as always. And we are brought to you by My New Philly, where something's always new and everything's always Philly. We'll see you on Monday where Eagles win. Eagles win? We're talking about an Eagles win, Digits?
I don't even know who they're playing.
We gotta do homework.
Off the top of my head, sorry, sue me.
We gotta do homework.
Tuesday is football day. I take Mondays off.
Fair play. The Raiders. They're playing the Raiders on Sunday. I think we gotta win on Monday.
Love it. That game's gonna be brutal to watch.
All right. Fellas, you have a great night, everyone. Have a great day. We're out.
He really got his phone.